Gang, what's up? Aaron here, Canadian Looney. Good to see everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Smash the like, hit subscribe. We're going to jump into the Conservative Convention 2026 and watch some of our favorite Conservative MPs, I guess, sing the praises of Pierre Poilievre. I don't know what's going to happen here. Let's jump right in. Let's kick it off.
Nous entendrons d'abord mon collègue Kostas Menegakis, suivi de Tamara Krouanis et enfin de Roman Baber. Please join me in welcoming our speakers.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. I'm Kostas Menegakis, the Member of Parliament for the great people of Aurora, Oak Ridges, Richmond Hill. Welcome to day 2 of our convention, and thanks for joining us so bright and early this morning. The Liberals have tried to sow division in our party for months now. We're all accustomed to the drumbeat that the usual suspects try to create, afraid of what we can do as a united Conservative Party focused on cleaning up the mess of the last 10 years of Liberal government. And what a mess it has been. Under their oversight, everything has gotten more expensive. Basics have turned into luxuries, home ownership is out of reach, and crime rages on our streets. The Liberals ignore the affordability crisis, pretending it doesn't exist, while millions of Canadians struggle every day. Instead of tackling the real challenges, they pay attention to their insider friends. Here's the hard truth. After 10 years of Liberal government, the Canadian promise of work hard, play by the rules, and get ahead no longer applies. The cost of food has spiraled out of control under the overspending, tax-happy Liberal government. A shocking quote from Food Bank Canada's 2025 hunger count says that we are becoming a country where hunger is normalized. Nearly 1 in 5 of its clients is employed but is unable to make ends meet. I'm sure you've experienced it at the grocery store, as have I. Judge me by your grocery bill, said Mark Carney. Well, let's do that. Since he became Prime Minister in March 2025 and November, strawberries increased by 94.7%. Cantaloupe increased by 36.4%. Romaine lettuce increased by 29.2%. Beef top sirloin cuts increased by 23.5%. Roasted or ground coffee increased by 23%. Iceberg lettuce up by 22%. And peppers increased by 14.3%. Inflation is continuing to spiral. This isn't something theoretical, ladies and gentlemen. This has real-life consequences, and Canadians are hurting every day because of it. But this was also predictable and is a result of damaging and poorly planned Liberal policies. And who predicted it and pushed hard for Liberals to change course? Our leader, Pierre Poilievre. He predicted it because he stood in arenas and in libraries and plant floors talking to thousands of voters one by one. They told him their stories and the struggles they were facing. He stood, he looked them in the eye. He listened to them and he heard them. The Liberals and some in the media pretended he was wrong. They derided his concern about inflationary spending and about the inflationary carbon tax. They mocked his serious and thoughtful commentary in an effort to diminish and demean legitimate concern about out-of-control spending. But Conservatives and Canadians knew better. The Liberals are trying to distract. They are trying to divide. They are doing their best to highlight Conservative disunity and to weaken our party. But just the opposite is happening. We are showing them here today that the Conservative movement in Canada will not be divided. In fact, we are more united than ever under the leadership of Pierre Poilievre. We will not be weakened. Conservatives will continue to focus on restoring hope by making life affordable again through lower taxes, less inflation, and cheaper housing, groceries, and energy so Canadians can build a better future. We are going to continue to loudly and proudly fight for a more affordable Canada, united and strong under Pierre Poilievre's leadership. Canada and the most vulnerable Canadians need us. So today, when you go mark your ballots on this leadership review, let's say yes to affordable groceries, yes to a united Canada, and yes to a united Conservative Party led by Pierre Poilievre, the man who increased our Conservative coalition to 41.5% of the national vote and garnered a historic 8.1 million votes. And a resounding yes to our leader, the next leader of Canada, the next Prime Minister of Canada, Pierre Poilievre. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And now it is my honor and privilege to welcome to the stage my colleague, Member of Parliament, Tamara Coronis. Thank you.
Smash the like, hit subscribe.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tamara Coronis, and I have the honor of representing the decent, hardworking, wonderful people of Nanaimo Ladysmith. There's an old saying that all politics is local. And that's why it is so good to be in a room like this with people from every riding, every province, and every corner of this great country. Because you feel everything we debate in Ottawa at your kitchen table and in your communities. When Conservatives bring together voices from across Canada, we make better policy. We get the benefit of your experience, and you make sure that no community is ignored. One of the things I love most about my job is the chance it gives me to get to talk with you. And no matter where you come from, you've told me that you're worried about the same things, including the safety of your community. Because crime is up in Canada. Violent crime has spiked across the country, and Canadians feel it. Whether it's rampant car theft in Ontario or the extortion wave that we're experiencing in BC, home invasions or random acts of violence, people are concerned. To let this chaos and disorder continue is straight up negligence. And it has been enabled entirely by a Liberal government that has spent the last 10 years seesawing between pretending it's not happening and pretending that there is nothing they can do about it. Canadians have the right to defend themselves and their families. And that's why Conservatives proposed the Stand on Guard principle, which would amend the criminal code to presume that the use of force is reasonable when someone unlawfully enters your home and poses a threat to the safety of the people inside. We're also proposing real action to tackle extortion, which is terrorizing communities across this country. Conservatives support mandatory minimum sentences of 3 years for anyone convicted of extortion, 4 if a firearm is used, and 5 if the extortion is connected to organized crime. And we would try fentanyl dealers for the murderers that they are. Because another thing that both the Liberals and the NDP ignored were Conservative warnings about our growing addictions crisis. It's another place where this government has let ideology trump evidence and where vulnerable people are paying the price. Let me be clear. Violent crime and addiction are not the same thing, and they must never be conflated. People struggling with addiction are not criminals simply because they are sick. They deserve care, dignity, and a real path to recovery. But the liberal approach has failed them. They decriminalized dangerous drugs in cahoots with the NDP and handed out taxpayer-funded hard drugs through so-called safe supply programs. Instead of helping people out of addiction, they abandoned them. And in many cases, they made the situation worse by providing tools to keep using without accountability, without treatment, and without hope. Conservatives believe that Canadians deserve better, and we are committed to bringing our loved ones home drug-free. I was just in Red Deer last week where my colleague MP Burton Bailey showed me the treatment and recovery work they've been doing in his community, and I'm working on a plan for my own. Because, as the Prime Minister says, a plan beats no plan. And what has this Prime Minister done to help with the addictions crisis for all of his lofty words? He cancelled the Minister of Mental Health and Addictions. Seriously. In fact, the word addictions appears only once in the Prime Minister's first budget, on page 247, where we learn that the $1.2 billion the federal government gives the provinces to support not only addiction services, but also home and community care and mental health, that money is set to expire after 2026-27. Meantime, our leader, Pierre Poilievre, has committed to fund 50,000 recovery spaces, one for every person who has died so far in this travesty, because he cares. That's a plan. What the Liberals and NDP are doing, on the other hand, that's abandonment. On these files and others, Conservatives have put forward serious, practical solutions. With your help, we will put forward more of those responsible, practical solutions because of what you do this weekend. Our approach should be firm, compassionate, and focused on recovery. We would allow judges to sentence offenders to mandatory treatment for addiction where appropriate. We would require recovery-oriented rehabilitation programs in prison so that people leave custody healthier than when they entered and less likely to offend. And we would end the failed NDP Liberal safe supply experiment, not with a whimper, but with a bang. Not with a phone line that leads to nowhere like they're doing in BC, but with beds and treatment and hope. Because while the Liberals are the party that likes to look down at Canada through the window of an airplane, turning their backs on hardworking Canadians and those trying to keep up, we are focused on you. Focused on real-life, honest solutions. Focused on dealing with those important issues and the other issues that hinder our productivity, get in the way of good wages, safe streets, peace of mind, and home ownership. We want to build a Canada where families can safely raise their kids. Under Pierre Poilievre's leadership, the Conservative Party has been clear and unwavering in our commitment to you. This weekend, we need you to help us continue that mission. As Conservatives, we believe Canada can be safer, stronger, and more united than it is today. We believe in responsibility, compassion, and common sense. And that's how we went from being 6,000 votes behind in Nanaimo Ladysmith to being almost 6,000 votes ahead in just 2 elections. My riding is living proof that losing on your first run sets the stage for a big win if you stay united and work hard to show our communities what we can do for Canada. And I have to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, Pierre Poilievre showed up in my riding over and over again to help me do just that. Every time he came, he kept asking me the same question. What are you hearing at the doors, Tamara? Stay focused on those things. And that is my message to you for this weekend. Because if together, if we stay focused on what we're hearing at the doors, about what we're hearing at the kitchen tables, about affordability, productivity, safety, and compassion, united under Pierre Poilievre, with the policies that you wisely choose this weekend, that is exactly the Canada that we will build together. So I want to thank you so much. I want to thank you for making the trip here to Calgary. I want to thank you for helping us to build our policies and our party so that we will be ready for the fight whenever it comes to us. Bless you all. And I want to introduce you to my colleague, Roman Baber, who'll join us next. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everybody. I'm MP Roman Baber from the riding of York Centre in the great city of Toronto. Right now, I'm the only Conservative Member of Parliament in Toronto, but I promise you there will be plenty more of us after the next election. I was elected in 2025 under the leadership of Pierre Poilievre. Serving Torontonians and serving Canadians in the House of Commons is an honor of a lifetime. Like many of us in this room, I'm an immigrant to Canada. 30 years ago, Canada needed chemical engineers. My dad was a chemical engineer. So my folks took an English test, a medical exam, passed a criminal background check, and we were blessed with the gift of coming to Canada. The system worked. We came to Toronto when I was 15, and we didn't have a cent to our name. My family worked hard and did our part to make our country strong. It wasn't always easy, but I've always had a job, and I've always had hope because I had the Canadian promise. The promise that all you need to do to succeed in Canada is work hard and be nice to people. And if you work hard and you follow the rules, you can afford a good life and a good home. And the promise that no matter where you're from, in Canada, you can achieve anything. I'm Exhibit A for the Canadian promise. But after a decade of the Liberal government, and make no mistake, it's the same old Liberal government, the Canadian promise is broken. Canada is now rampant with chaos and confusion. The Liberals failed on every front. For instance, on immigration. The Liberals destroyed Canada's immigration system. Their radical open border policies overwhelmed our housing, our healthcare, and our justice systems. Let's just look at the facts. The latest census revealed that the Liberals missed almost 40% of temporary residents. They allowed the asylum seeker backlog to balloon from 10,000 claims in 2015 to over 300,000 claims today. Meanwhile, rejected claimants who wait for an appeal for almost as long as 4 years continue to receive full federal benefits. In the last 10 years, Canadians paid over $2.8 billion in healthcare costs alone. It's unfair and it's unacceptable. It's also unfair to newcomers who follow the rules, apply to come to Canada, and then watch hundreds of thousands of economic migrants jump the queue claiming they're refugees. But the Liberals didn't just help people break the rules. They weakened the immigration screenings that kept us safe. Imagine, over 700 IRGC agents have been allowed into Canada. Mark Carney promised to fix the system, but instead he made our immigration system worse. As Pierre Poilievre says, we used to have the best immigration system in the world. It brought people in reasonable numbers with the skills we needed. Immigration failure is not the only chaos the Liberals unleashed from Ottawa. Canadians used to be some of the safest people in the world. But now our streets are ridden with crime and chaos because of Liberals' soft-on-crime laws. Here in Calgary, firearm offenses tripled since the Liberals took power. Violent offenses are up 66%. In my city of Toronto, car thefts are up 250%. And across the country, violent crime is up by 50%. The Liberals ignored clear warning signs about their failed bail reform. We have a revolving door bail system that forces judges to consider release at the earliest opportunity with the least restrictive conditions. Keeping Canadians safe requires immediate action, but the Liberals spent 2025 refusing to act. So the crime and chaos go on Canada's streets. Offenders are arrested, they're released within days, and often they reoffend again. The Liberals cut jail sentences, brought in easy bail, and let gangs and extortionists roam our streets. That's why Canadians need a Conservative government.
Thank you very much, Genuine CA. Appreciate it.
Led by Pierre Poilievre. Pierre will end the Liberal bail system, tackle crime, fix the asylum system, strengthen border security, and deport serious criminals who aren't citizens. We need to end the chaos, and under the leadership of Pierre Poilievre, we will restore an immigration system that serves Canadians and makes sense. Pierre will restore the Canadian promise, not just for newcomers, but for all Canadians. We will make our streets safe again, and we will make government work again. This country gave me and my family everything, and I will not stop fighting to help Pierre Poilievre to make Canada the true North strong and free. Thank you so much, and God bless our wonderful nation. Thank you. Friends, we're going to take a few minutes to reset the stage for the constitutional breakout. There's also a policy breakout session in the Petron Ballroom next door. Thank you, and have a wonderful convention. Thank you.
Oh, we got some downtime here. Yeah, smash the like, guys. Hit subscribe. My name's Aaron. We're going to try to cover this for all day if we can. What is up there, guys? They're slowing down.
The recording secretary.
Are they coming back? I think they're coming back, guys. Looks like we've got some people filling in. Turn on the lights.
Constitutional workshop session. I'd ask everyone to take their seats so we can begin the constitutional workshop session. Good morning, everyone. My name is Michael Wilson. I'm going to be your moderator this morning for the constitutional workshop, along with Chad Bowie. So we'll be swapping in and out throughout the course of the next 3 hours. In addition to Chad and I, Richard Bragdon is assisting as our parliamentarian to advise on any procedural matters. And we have members of the National Constitution Committee assisting both in counting votes and as the recording secretary to make sure we get the results correctly. So everyone understands, if you're a voting delegate, there's lots of space, but if you want your vote counted, you have to be ahead of the break across the room. So you need to be in the front section of the room. There's lots of seats across 8 sections. There will be counters. Could the counters at the front of the room wave their hands and identify yourselves? We're in a much larger breakout room than usual, so it's more difficult to see. But when we call votes, we'll call for affirmative votes. You'll be asked to raise your cards and hold your cards up for what will feel like an inordinately long time. That's so the counters can make sure they record every in favor vote. You'll then lower your card. We'll call for no votes. Again, if you're voting no, you'll have to hold up your card for what will feel like a very long time, and we'll let you know when you can take your card down. So you'll be don't just think you're watching the counters. They're trying to watch you, but again, you have to be in the front half of the room if you want your vote counted. So back half of the room is for observers, front half of the room is for voting delegates. And if you're a voting delegate in the back half of the room, your vote won't get counted. The PowerPoint slides will show the proposed amendments. However, some of the slides have been trimmed for space reasons, so the full version of the text you're being asked to vote on is in the convention package that you would have received on the way in yesterday or today. When we call amendments, the moving EDA or proponent will be asked to speak for 1 minute. We'll have technical commentary from Judy Manning or Tim Sire on behalf of the National Constitution Committee or National Council on certain of the amendments, proposed amendments, a speaker in favor for 30 seconds, 2 speakers opposed for 30 seconds each, and a rebuttal for 30 seconds from the proponent. The no microphone is in an aisle over here. The yes microphone is in an aisle over there. With that, we'll move to the first amendment, Proposal C1. Burnaby North Seymour, is there a, sorry, I apparently run the screen as well. The rules. There we are. Proposal C1. So Burnaby North Seymour for 1 minute.
Ian Provan, Burnaby North Seymour. This proposal develops what our Constitution already says, that each EDA is responsible for the administration of the candidate selection process in its own electoral district. Our proposal simply specifies a few of the implications. First, we must know the applicants we wish to represent, who wish to represent us, which means seeing their application packages and interviewing them. And secondly, our wishes about which applicants should become nomination candidates must be respected unless there are exceptional circumstances. And when the National Committee does wish to override the EDA, it must explain why the circumstances are exceptional, and the EDA should have the right of appeal. There's nothing radical in this. It's simply stating what's in the Constitution already and drawing out some implications. But if they're not stated, recent experience demonstrates that legitimate EDA rights will continue to be eroded. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Is there technical commentary? Yeah.
Excuse me.
Right. So,
point of order.
Yes.
Levi Dirksen, Carlton Trail, Eagle Creek. I just want to, while we're waiting here, I just want to draw attention to 5.9 and 5.10 of the debate rules, just so everybody is aware. In order to pass today, it's a majority vote. Whatever proposal gets a majority vote goes to the plenary tomorrow per 5.9 of the rules. And then in 5.10 of the rules, it makes it clear that the question of debate today is whether we want it to advance to plenary tomorrow. Not final approval. The final approval will be in the plenary tomorrow, and contradictory or incompatible resolutions will be dealt with in the final plenary. So theoretically,
okay. Thank you, Levi. We got to get back onto the schedule. Thank you. All right. Technical commentary.
thanks, Mike. My name's Tim Sire. I'm National Councillor from the Northwest Territories. Judy Manning here from Newfoundland. There's a theme going through a number of the things that we'll address today, and that is that in December of 2025, National Council passed, amended, and restated rules for candidate nomination procedures. And so many of the amendments that are in the book before you are dealt with substantively in those rules. And this particular rule is dealt with in Section 3 and 4, Articles 5 and 9. Judy, speak again. No.
And just on that point, for example, in Article 9 of the rules that were passed in December 2025, it provides for...
The timer on the screen is incorrect. It's 1 minute each of National Council and National Constitution Committee, so please, I'll keep track of the time.
Sorry. Article 9 provides for all applicants approved to contest a nomination to receive a copy of the current membership list at the same time on the third day following the close of nominations, and subsequent lists are given to nomination nomination contestants at the same time. So some of these issues, the lists, things like that, we did a comprehensive set of rules through National Council introduced December 2025, and I would invite you to review those rules because, as Tim mentioned, many of these were drafted prior to the implementation of the rules, so prior to when the draftspeople would have seen the rules.
Can we get a speaker in favor for 30 seconds?
Okay, I just want to address that last point. The new rules are definitely an improvement, but they do not address most of what is in this proposal. And in fact, getting things into the Constitution, it turns out, is the only way of ensuring that our core requirements as members actually are dealt with. The rules are subsidiary to the Constitution, and we must remember that.
Is there a speaker against for 30 seconds?
Gortalk, Red Deer. I very much understand the sentiment, and I share his disgust with how things have been conducted recently. But my real issue is 14.2.1, full access without exception. So what if there's documents, there's a court order that's not to be made public? What if there's kiddie porn in somebody's package? That sounded really bad. We cannot get ourselves into a legal bind. Without exception is far too strong a language for this kind of a thing.
Thank you very much. Another speaker opposed for 30 seconds.
Yeah, just to reiterate what Mr. Provine said, Al Sebring from Ponoka-Didsbury. This is an amendment to the Constitution. Good work by National Council to amend the rules, but those are the rules and they can be amended again. This nomination stuff we need to embed in the Constitution. Thank you.
Rebuttal, 30 seconds.
Is that for 30 seconds?
For 30-second rebuttal.
In the fall, the senior Conservative was quoted as saying, you can have a fair nomination process or you can have the candidates you want, but you can't have both. Many of us aspire to a much higher standard of conduct in our party's affairs, and we need to enshrine its core aspects in the Constitution, especially when National Council's rules have a rule that says that National Council can ignore the rules as it sees fit. Please vote for Proposal 812.
Thank you very much. We'll now call the question. All those in favor, please raise your cards. All those opposed? I don't think we need to go to a vote. I think that's carried. Yes. Oh, sorry. Don't need to go to a count. So C1 is carried through to the plenary session tomorrow.
Good job. Good luck.
C2, Abbotsford South Langley, introduction.
No, Oakville East.
Oh, sorry, I flipped too many pages. Oakville East, C2, for a 1-minute introduction to the resolution.
Delegates, C2 1004 does one important thing. It puts into our Constitution what every winning campaign already knows. Elections are won in our communities, and strong EDAs win elections. Today, EDAs are expected to do the heavy lifting, build membership, identify and support candidates, recruit and train volunteers, fundraise, stay compliant, and be election ready. Yet our Constitution does not recognize them as essential to electoral success, or require our national parties' institutions to make decisions through a simple lens. Does this strengthen EDA capacity or electoral success? C2 1004 fixes that. It affirms that the party's success is inseparable from the strength of EDAs, and it reflects the will of members nationwide. This creates no new powers, no bureaucracy, and no loss of authority. Only alignment, accountability, and a focus on winning. Delegates, please vote yes, C2 1004.
Thank you. Appears no technical commentary. So can we have another speaker in favor for 30 seconds?
Julie Mosqueda, Oakville East. I am in favor. Every EDA carries the same responsibility, but support has not been consistent. This amendment ensures clear expectations, shared standards, and regular communications so that every community can be equally prepared when election is called.
Thank you. A speaker against, 30 seconds.
Gortalk, Red Deer. I totally understand the sentiment, but our Constitution is our rule book. It is not our intention book. None of these items are actionable. None of these items will ever meet, or how do you prove any of these things? This is very nice fluff. It does not belong in our Constitution. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other speakers against? Seeing none, any rebuttal from the mover for the proposing EDA?
So Delegate C2-1004 belongs in the Constitution because practice can change, principles should not. Policies come and go, leaders change, but the role of EDAs in winning an election does not. This amendment locks in shared responsibility, consultation, and support of constitutional duties. So every future decision is guided on what strengthens EDAs and electoral success. This is how we protect the grassroots in the long term. Vote yes, C2-1004.
Thank you. We'll call the question. All those in favor of C2 moving to the plenary, please raise your cards.
Move up, move up, move up.
All those opposed? Okay, that will have to go to account. So this is cards down. Do we have our 8 counters in each of the 8 sections? So this is our first vote. Good practice. So if you're in favor of the resolution, raise your hand. Raise your card, hold your card. Once you've been counted, put your card down.
Constitution, they just because I mean everybody figures half of them. So that's, but anyway, if the 30 is we should be.
That's, yeah.
Sometimes it gets real quiet. So yeah, gang, my name's Aaron. This is Canadian Looney. We're just hanging out watching this for the day, I think. Like, I might break it up into a couple of pieces, but if we drop or we go out, we'll be back shortly after that. Oh my goodness. Chatty? That is so generous. Oh my goodness, I don't know what to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Well done.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Did you put this forward?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So,
I submitted this.
You guys have a great
I wrote
package.
it, yeah.
No? All right. All those opposed to the motion, please raise your card and hold your card until you see you've been counted.
Sir James Ballard.
Ballard?
Ballard.
Nice to meet you.
You're-
Daniel Blackmore.
Oh, well done. Good. Thank you.
So we got support from Newfoundland and BC. We're right across the border.
Thank you so much. We've got to enshrine this in the Constitution, not in the National Council rules.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the issue.
Candidate nomination.
Counts go up to over 700 in Quebec City. Okay, they have to be seated to be counted. Those ones won't count. No, just
Well, so just again, if you want to vote, there's lots of seats you ought to be seated in front of the divide line. So there's lots of seating on both wings. So if you're a delegate and you want your vote counted, you got to be in a seat in the front half of the room, and there's lots of open spots in the end sections.
Come on. So just right quickly, while they're doing this, I'm going to show a quick video. I want people to see this. Oh, look at that, they're back.
Front half of the room. Our counters are likely to miss you if you're standing, or if you're behind, you're certainly not getting counted. Front half of the room, seated.
We'll drop back to this in a moment. I'm crossing over to this. Just give me 1 second to pull this up. Where is it? Oh, goodness gracious. I don't have it. For fuck's sakes. Well, false alarm on that one. Damn.
Okay, the votes in favor 255, votes opposed 515. The motion's defeated. Thank you. Moving on to C3, sponsoring EDA Abbotsford South Langley.
We just want to make sure that no one takes up too much time.
Go ahead.
Sir James Barlow, Abbotsford South Langley. Fundraising and advising constituents of events and activities cannot be efficiently managed without access to membership lists for the riding. Coordinating with adjoining ridings requires, at minimum, knowing who to contact in local ridings. Yet for some ridings, including my own, this has been consistently withheld. Quoting such things as privacy, elections, and more. I only got this information a short while ago after nearly 2 years.
Thank you, that's time. Technical commentary?
I get 60 seconds.
Oh.
That's what I get, 60 seconds.
Sorry, take your next 30 seconds. I apologize.
Thank you. For elected local representatives to be denied this seriously impedes how we can work as grassroots and passionate conservatives when all have signed non-disclosure agreements. Please ensure this cannot continue by voting yes to submission 897 and putting this into our Constitution. Thank you.
Thank you. Technical commentary?
Thank you. Yeah, we see a flaw in the drafting here. It's not clear what Schedule A is, an approved Schedule A that comes up twice in the addition, and we don't know what it is. That's all.
Okay. Thank you. Speaker in favor?
Hi, Daniel Blackmore, Secretary for Cape Spear.
Speaking in favor of this amendment, I think to prevent access to the membership rolls, it's undue paternalism. There's an expectation of confidentiality with this anyways, and I'll tell you firsthand, it's not hard to find out if someone's on a membership roll. We don't need to codify it. It's available anyways. And as for Schedule A, that's just a standard agreement you sign with the party when you are on the executive.
Thank you. Speaker opposed for 30 seconds.
Point of order first, if I may. Are we allowed to propose amendments?
No, we're not. I'm not entertaining amendments.
Then I will speak in the negative on this, and it's because I can't amend Gord Talk Red Deer. Sorry. I will point out the very last sentence in 561. It refers to any EDA president would approve Schedule A gets access to this list. It does not specifically say within the region. So literally any president in any EDA in Canada can get the entire list of the information we're talking about here. I don't think that was the intent of this proposition, and it's unfortunate they have that rule.
Thank you. That's time. Speaker against for 30 seconds.
Hi there, Chris Moen, Calgary Crowfoot. Speaking against this resolution, again, as Gord Talk just simply mentioned, this is requiring the membership list for the entire country, potentially, but not just the EDA. As well, too, we also have, these are, like, our Constitution is supposed to be about rules that are for our entire Constitution, not just simply operating best practices. Finally, if you want to get the President's contact list, just talk to him at Southern Alberta Constitution meeting.
That's time. A rebuttal for 30 seconds.
Thank you. All these lists should be available to presidents, yes, locally, but nationally if required. And this is a vital requirement for all EDAs to function properly. I ask you all to please vote yes.
Thank you. We'll call the question. All those in favor, please raise your cards. Those opposed?
Will I be counted if I'm stood here?
That's defeated. C4, Halliburton, Kawartha Lakes, 1 minute in favor.
Oh,
yeah. Go ahead.
My name is Daniel Laveau, and I represent the Halliburton Kawartha Lakes EDA. During the past decade, all too often, we have seen the federal government dismiss Canadians and focus on the interests of other countries. A Canada First statement will guide economic development for the benefit of all Canadians. And with a strong economy, we can continue to contribute to other countries less fortunate to ourselves. We coined the term Canada First not to imitate a foreign country, but to amplify Canadian values, including self-reliance, safeguard our borders, encourage public welfare, and allow freedom of speech for all Canadians, as our leader iterated this past year. A Canada First policy will build on our historical roots and restore Canada to be the envy of the world. Please vote for the constitutional amendment ID 931.
Thank you. Seeing no technical commentary, is there a speaker another speaker in favor for 30 seconds?
Jamie Schmale, Halliburton, Kawartha Lakes. For the last 10 years, we've seen bad federal policy on behalf of the Liberal government have an inability to get pipelines built to Tidewater. Our lumber industry is hurting. Opening a mine is becoming increasingly difficult. Accessing capital to build projects and get the mines going and innovating here in Canada is becoming difficult because of the policies put in place. Let's start a Canada First policy. This is inspired by our leader's speech in our last campaign. Let's put Canada first for a change.
Thank you. Speaker against for 30 seconds.
Gord Talk Red Deer. I'm not here to speak against freedom and all the other lovely things in this thing. This is our Constitution. This is our rule book. This is not our policy book. Even the speaker in favor talked about it being a policy. This kind of, and I'm sorry to be nasty about this, but it is what I am. This kind of fluff does not belong in our Constitution. Let's make it a great Constitution, not a political document. Thank you.
Yes, speaker opposed, 30 seconds.
Liam O'Brien, Central Newfoundland on Canada's right coast, and also the other Gord Tulk. This is basically already in here a bunch of times in a bunch of different ways, or in the policy declaration. We don't need to puff up our Constitution and codify everything. The Constitution is about governing the party and how the party operates. This is something that clearly should have been caught and vetted out earlier. Please vote against. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Rebuttal for 30 seconds.
My name is Hunter Sidsworth from Halliburton, Kawartha Lakes. I respectfully disagree with the dissenting opinion. This policy simply affirms that a strong and fair country must first and foremost be accountable to its own people. Canada First means self-reliance, Canadian jobs, secure borders, respect for the law, and guaranteed freedoms for all Canadians. It is on our hats, it is in our values. Now let's put it in our Constitution. Vote for ID 931. Vote Canada First.
Thank you. Call the question. All those in favor, please raise your cards. Opposed? Defeated. Thank you. C5.
All that work.
Peter Firmer, Foothills.
Thank you. 1 minute.
Conservative Party has no funds and never has had any funds. When you contribute nationally, your money goes to Conservative Fund Canada. That's a separate organization with its own bylaws, its own members, its own officers. Conservative Fund has been very successful and efficient at raising money from Conservative Party members. When it comes to spending the money the party members contributed, Conservative Fund is not accountable to the members. National Council, which includes our leader, represents us and is accountable to the party members who are the source of the funds. To have responsible party governance, National Council must have the opportunity and the authority to review, amend, and approve the annual party budget. This amendment achieves that goal with a clear requirement which Conservative Fund must meet, giving National Council, including our leader, the opportunity to discharge its responsibility to party members. Thank you. Please vote for this.
Thank you. Is there technical commentary? No. Another speaker in favor for 30 seconds. Okay. Seeing none, a speaker opposed for 30 seconds.
That should make it easy. Melissa Lantzman, proud member of Parliament for Thornhill. Let's not forget that the Conservative Party Fund is the most successful political fundraising machine in the history of this country. So give that a hand. It doesn't need further bureaucracy. It doesn't need what this resolution is proposing. As an MP whose riding has raised over $1.5 million, another $1 million for the fund, I look forward every single day to working with the professionals who run our fund, and you should know that the best people do. So vote no on this.
Thank you. Next speaker, 30 seconds in favor.
Hi, Chris Moen, Calgary Crowfoot, speaking against of this. As a director on public company corporations, if I want data, I go to the CFO and I ask for the data early. These are, again, in order to quote Gord Tulk here, these are the rules for our Constitution. These are not best practices simply for a rule book. Let our national councillors work collaboratively with the Conservative Fund Board in order to come to a collaborative agreement. Thank you. Please vote no.
Thank you. Rebuttal for 30 seconds.
Okay, this isn't about raising funds. It's got nothing to do with it. It's what's done with the funds once they've been raised from the party members. This amendment would make sure the Conservative Fund has to distribute the information to the National Council members and, of course, the leader of the party, so they have a proper time to review the budget and then can vote to approve it or amend it. They're responsible to you, the people who contributed, so vote to support them. Thank you.
Thanks. We'll call the question. All those in favor, please raise your cards. Those opposed? That's defeated. C6. Thunder Bay, Rainy River, speaker in favor for 1 minute.
Craig Hussey, Thunder Bay, Rainy River. Our district has not been conservative for decades, but is a close, winnable riding, as many are across this country. Last election cycle, we had 2 contestants for nomination, of which I was one. We both had applications filed for over a year, and nominations finally closed about 3 weeks before the writ dropped. 4 days after, my application was disallowed because of a technical glitch in the online upload of documents. Our candidate was then acclaimed 48 hours before the election call. Today, our riding is still Liberal. We worked our butts off to win the riding, but the internal CPC system failed us. Scores of ridings across Canada experienced similar situations. The result, Mark Carney sits in the Prime Minister's office in Ottawa today. For the future of our nation, this cannot happen again. We must ensure the next occupant of that office is Pierre Poilievre. Vote yes on 870.
Technical commentary, 1 minute, National Council, 1 minute, National Constitution.
Thanks. National Council notes that the amendments proposed in C6 are dealt with comprehensively in Articles 4 and 5 of the amended and restated rules for the nomination procedures.
Constitution Committee notes that there is language included, including extenuating circumstances in 14.2.1, which are not defined, which we would submit are not appropriate for our Constitution. And also 14.2.3, the NCSC will ensure wherever possible there are at least 2 potential candidates that are voted on by the party memberships. What does wherever possible mean? Does the NCSC recruit? There's no qualifier on potential candidates. Is it just 2 live bodies? Doesn't belong in the Constitution.
Okay. Speaker in favor for 30 seconds.
Joanne Norland Carroll, Thunder Bay, Rainy River. Every EDA needs to have a candidate in place with sufficient time to prepare. Give candidates time for training and preparation. We need a better system, and this can never happen again. So vote for 870, Candidates for Parliament rules.
Thank you. Speaker opposed for 30 seconds.
Gord talked right there. I want to echo, but actually reiterate the problem is the NCSC is supposed to be a neutral entity. It's supposed to conduct our affairs in terms of nominations, requiring it in our Constitution that they have to find at least 2 potential candidates. It means now they're out looking for candidates. That's not their role. I'm not allowed to propose an amendment. Take that sentence out. I'm all over this. But this is a terrible, terrible flaw in this resolution. Thank you.
Another speaker against for 30 seconds.
Liam O'Brien, Central Newfoundland. I just want to say that, and I say this about almost every nomination-related amendment here today, there's a set of rules that have been established by a subcommittee of National Council. That's how you deal with this sort of thing. If we start entrenching piecemeal pieces of our nomination process, we're going to end up with a horse built by a committee, a camel. Don't do that. Let's keep it all together. There was extensive consultation on the new set of rules that reflect addressing the problems the gentleman mentioned earlier. I ask you to vote no.
Okay, and rebuttal for 30 seconds.
This is not covered comprehensively in the current rules and needs to be enshrined in our Constitution. In the current rule change, it basically gives us till sometime in 27 to have candidates in place when we are in a minority government. We need that done, as this resolution suggests, within 9 months of a minority government. And with regard, it talks about having candidates in place, if possible, in regard to having, instead of appointing in a district. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll call the question. All those in favor, please raise your cards. All those opposed? Okay, we'll go to a count. So if the counters are all in place, so just give them a second to get in place so your arms don't get tired here. Again, if you want, make sure if you're a delegate, front section, in a chair. All right, if you're, just let our counters get in place so your arms don't get tired. Okay, in favor, please raise your cards and hold them until you've been counted. Once you've been counted, you can lower your card. sometimes. So if you're opposed, please raise your cards and hold them until you've been counted.
Thank you very much, Canada. Appreciate it. That's wicked. Welcome to the new members. Greetings. I'm Aaron. This is Canadian Looney. We can thank Canada. I know this is kind of pokey right now, guys, but we're just watching because I'd be watching it anyways. And like, share, subscribe. We'll probably break this up today into like a few pieces. Okay, so on proposal C6, votes in favor 332, votes opposed 547. The proposal fails. It's great there's so many people, we have such a big room, but it does slow down our counting. So we're important to count though, but thanks for your patience in that process. Moving on to C7. Is there a speaker in favor for 1 minute from Eglinton Lawrence? Go ahead.
This amendment will prohibit federally registered lobbyists from serving on National Council. Members of National Council hold one of the most important responsibilities in our party. They write our rules, oversee our budget, vet candidate selection. And above all, they are meant to serve the grassroots members of the party, not outside interest. That's why this amendment matters. Federal lobbyists are paid to advance the priorities of corporations, NGOs, and third parties. However well-intentioned, that creates real or perceived conflicts of interest. And when trust in party governance is weakened, grassroots members lose confidence in the very institution meant to represent them. Lobbying has its place in politics, but it does not belong inside the governing body of our party. Amendment 1021 is about clarity, fairness, and accountability. It draws a bright line. National Council must be independent, impartial, and member-focused. All Ontario National Councillors are in support. The amendment keeps power
Thank you
where
very
it belongs
much.
with
That's
the grassroots.
That's time.
Thank you.
Is there a no technical commentary? Another 30 seconds from a speaker in favor. Go ahead.
Okay. I want to be clear about what the amendment does and does not do. It does not prohibit membership, volunteering, or fundraising at any level. It only affects federal lobbyists, not provincial. It applies to the National Council because of its unique authority over rules, nominations, and internal enforcement. Lobbying the federal government creates an inherent conflict of interest when the same individuals help govern the Conservative Party seeking to form government. The Constitution already bars MPs, staffers, and party employees because good governance requires independence. This amendment treats federal lobbyists the same way.
Oh, thank you. That's time. Speaker opposed for 30 seconds.
Gord Talk, Red Deer. That's all fine and good. I bet you 3/4 of this room could not run for National Council because of this. If you're the president of the Alberta Beef Association, which is a registered lobby group, you cannot participate on National Council. This is far too broad a net. Far too many people literally in this room do not know that they're part of a registered lobbying organization of some form or another. It would not be able to be on National Council. This is very problematic. Please vote this down.
Thank you. Next speaker for 30 seconds opposed.
Hi, Chris Moen, Calgary Crowfoot. As we've already dispensed with the usual Gord Talk request in order for amendments which are not allowed, I would like to draw your attention to the very final part of 8.3.7, or required to be registered. When you put in requirements or required, that means that if you don't like the election, you could say, oh, I think you should be on the federal registry list. That is for the federal government to determine, not for our National Council. Please vote no.
Thank you. Rebuttal speaker from the moving EDA for 30 seconds.
The Lobbying Act defines a lobbyist as someone who's paid to communicate with the federal public office holders in order to influence legislation, policy, programs, grants, or contracts. That includes consultant lobbyists and in-house lobbyists. The definition of lobbyist is complex, which is why we reference the legislation, and we included the portion about individuals that were required to register as lobbyists to avoid the possibility of people shirking that responsibility. Again, this doesn't capture volunteers, unpaid advocates, and casual political participants. Registration is only required.
Thank you. That's time. Let's call the question for a vote. All those in favor, please raise your cards. All those opposed? Carried. Counted. Or...
Thank you very much, Vince of New Scotland.
I think we'll go to a count since there's not a view. So sorry about that. So if the counters can get into position. Rest your arms for a minute. Counters get into position. All right, so all those in favor, please raise your card. Hold your card until a counter sees you, and then you can lower your card.
Now I'm discovering. You don't want to bluff. No, you made the right call. No, like a sound. One is out. Yeah. One is out. Yeah, it's a. Oh, yeah, yeah. It's
equivalent of the least popular person.
Oh, yeah.
What I do. Yes, that's what it says. Yep.
Okay. Please do it.
Counter's good to switch to the no votes? Yep. Okay, if you're opposed to the motion, please raise your card. Hold your card until you've been counted, and then you can lower your card.
Yeah, so she hasn't come back to me, and I don't know her, to be honest. I have her email address, and I've just been with her. So, if you telephone footnotes,
To speak to it?
to speak to her, at least, and they can sort it out in the microphone if they're both there. One can speak in favor, and one can be the proponent. Great view. I haven't noticed that. Oh, I didn't see that either. Big prairie sky. Wow. I would have called if I had called that.
So the motion C7 in favor 398, opposed 478. The motion is defeated. Which is, I guess, why we count. Moving on to C8, Provencher. 1 minute 1 minute from the proponent.
Andrew McKee from Provencher. This detailed proposal provides more certainty to potential nomination candidates who devote years of their lives running for nominations and gives them a transparent timeframe for their nomination, and while also giving needed flexibility to council and headquarters to readjust as situations such as leadership races, redistributions, or resignations arise. Under the new nomination rules, the executive council director can call nominations at any time without consultation with council or the local riding. This would close that gap. Well, please vote for this proposal, which gives much needed and reasonable transparency to nomination time frames.
Tried to play the MP card.
Thank you. Technical explanation, 1 minute, National Council.
Thank you. National Council notes that the provisions proposed in C8 are handled extensively in Articles 3 and Articles 4 of the amended and restated rules for nominations. Rules for held ridings and unheld ridings are dealt with, and in particular how a sitting MP can protect their own riding is dealt with. National Council appointed the subcommittee to draft those rules, and after extensive consultation with party members, deliberately drafted the rules as we have to account for just the things that C8 is proposing. Passing C8 would tie National Council's hands.
Okay, thank you. National Constitution Committee, 1 minute.
I would just note a spoiler alert, C16 also seeks a national nomination schedule, but it's a much more succinct proposal. There is a problem here with 14.7 because the language that we have ability to change dates, but only do so in emergency circumstances that are clearly justified to the membership. I struggle with what the emergency circumstances are. They're not defined. How does National Council ensure it's met the clearly justified to the membership mandate? Not sure how that would be tested. And also I'd note 14.3.1-3 doesn't exist in the Constitution, so it's referring us to a section of the Constitution that doesn't exist. That's in 14.7.
Thank you very much, Oliver Ruff. Appreciate it.
I just want to address the recurring theme coming from National Council today, that somehow because there are certain rules, we shouldn't be here doing our jobs somehow. Let me remind you that the rules, whether they're good or bad, can be changed at a whim, and they can also be ignored because one of the rules says National Council can ignore the rules whenever it wants. So this idea that because the rules have been changed, and they are better, good on you, it doesn't affect the question of what we're here to do.
Thank you. A speaker opposed for 30 seconds.
Gord Talk, Red Deer. I admire the effort, but this is far too detailed. As was pointed out, heavily flawed. The resolution C16 is a much more concise and much more actionable and workable amendment to our Constitution. This really, we can't be putting these kinds of prescriptions, details and whatnot into our Constitution this way. Please vote it down. Thank you.
A speaker opposed for 30 seconds.
Delegate for the by-election battlefield of University of Rosedale. I urge all members to vote against because 14.7 specifically states that the National Council is unable to vote is unable to change nomination dates unless in times of emergency. We don't know what that means. And also, this is under the assumption that the Liberal Party calls elections according to schedule. They never do that. So we need the National Council to be able to react on a whim to whatever Mark Carney wants to do in the next 3 months. Please vote against this. This unduly burdens our bureaucracy.
Thank you very much. Rebuttal for 30 seconds.
This proposal does give detailed timelines and flexibility, which is, I believe, important. We need candidates that have information so they can plan. We need people on the ground to be able to plan as well. This proposal goes a long way towards transparency. Please support it.
Thank you. We'll call the question. All those in favor, please raise your cards. All those opposed? All right, that proposal is defeated. Thank you. Moving on to C9. Looking for a proponent for 1 minute in favor from Carleton Trail Eagle Creek.
Hi there, Josh Boys, Carleton Trail Eagle Creek. We believe that the citizenship status required to vote in a Canadian election should be our party's citizenship standard. This is a necessary change to our Constitution because foreign interference is a real threat. Enemies of our country can and have used their diasporas in Canada to manipulate elections in other parties. We must protect our party. Additionally, this proposal simplifies membership qualification verification. It is more difficult to determine someone's standing in Canada beyond simple citizenship. This proposal intentionally does not address the minimum age requirement of membership or how to address current members who are not citizens. National Council has the authority to address these questions in the bylaws. Let's change the Constitution to protect our membership.
Thank you. Is there no technical commentary? So moving to a speaker in favor for 30 seconds.
Hi, Henry Chan from Saskatoon South. I just want to comment on the fact that people that are permanent resident are not allowed to vote in the general election. So if someone who is not allowed to vote in a general election, why should they get to vote and pick the candidate in the nomination? And further to that, to people who have something to say against that, I would tell them, go change the rules for the general election first, because you have to be a citizen to vote in our general elections.
You're here.
Thank you. Speaker opposed for 30 seconds.
Liam O'Brien, Central Newfoundland. I've been at this for about 35 years, and I'll tell you right now that this is a party of freedom. This is a party, the Conservative Party of Canada is for freedom, and there are people who have escaped authoritarian communist regimes that I work with and knock on doors with that should not be excluded by gatekeeping. And also, the next step after this, but the logic of the last speaker, is they go after the people who are 14 and up, who we currently allow, because they're damn good people we want in the party. Vote no, please.
Okay, a speaker opposed for 30 seconds.
Rachel Enns, Vernon, Lake Country, Monashee. I would vote no on this mostly because of my friends from the Netherlands who are permanent residents. They love voting. They would love to vote Conservative, but they can't. So they participate in Conservative Party things by being members. This would exclude them. Vote no.
Okay, thank you very much. Rebuttal speaker for 30 seconds, please.
Brad Redikoff, Member of Parliament for Saskatoon West. Look, it's great to have a candidate who can win over a bunch of supporters, but we don't need to attract supporters, we need to attract voters. We shouldn't select candidates based on winning over teenagers or family members or even church groups. We need candidates who can win over voters exclusively. The purpose of a nomination race is to select who could win over the most voters. So that should be the test that we use. Let's allow Conservative voters in a riding to judge who the best candidate is.
You're here.
Thank you. We'll call the question to a vote. So all those in favor, please raise your cards.
Good job. Let's go.
Okay, all those opposed?
Well, it's going to account.
Okay, we're going to count that. You're making my job really hard. Okay, so I'll ask the counters to get into position. And we're all good. So if you're in favor of that resolution, C9, please raise your cards and hold them until you've been counted. And then you can lower your cards once you've been counted.
All right, gang. So what the plan is here is after this vote is finished, we're going to end this live. We'll be back with more from convention. I would keep this running, but this is going to continue for 13 hours, and this is kind of slow. Later this evening, it's going to be exciting. This stuff is super interesting. I'll be watching it all day, but I have the furnace technician coming in here in a little bit, and it's just too many things. We will be back this evening. Anyhow, let's see how the vote turned out.
These ones, like even ours, these are, they were statements. They yeah, we didn't expect them to. If they're not heard, I don't think we've heard. We're upset.
Oh, sorry. I forgot my job. All those opposed, please raise your cards. I'm working here.
I think, now, I've been to every convention, and I've been in the Constitution Room every time. Back in the old days, they never quit until they waited at lunch break and come back to the Constitution. But generally, they've shown up time. In my humble opinion, I would say we just go until the 15th. which you've now given something to it's not our fault it's taken that long. So that's what I would say.
And if it was more randomized, the ordering I understand is based on prioritization.
It's because I insisted that it be this way.
So it helps. Okay, the counting is complete, so we'll just tally those results. While we're doing that, just to make use of time, there's a sheet. Those of you that were early may have received it on the way in. There's a provision of the Constitution, 16.4, that allows delegates, if delegates from 100 ridings make a submission more than 12 hours before the start of this session, it bypasses the ordinary process and puts the item on the agenda in this session. That occurred last night, and so we have a new item, C-12-5, and volunteers, if you didn't get this sheet, we'll pass it out so that people will have an opportunity to consider the resolution, and we're going to deal with it as the first item after the regional priority. So item C-12 is the last regional priority, then we'll move to the item that came in under the Constitution, and then return to the ordinary agenda. But if you didn't get a copy of the one-page item C-12.5, volunteers have them and are handing them out now. And we'll come to that in due course, and I'll again explain at the time how we got to have that on the agenda. But just so people have an opportunity to see it and consider it in advance, feel free to take a look. Mr. O'Brien. Vida.
Hello?
Oh, there we are.
Oh, okay, sorry. Mr. Chair, sorry, just wanted to make one point of order. Excellent system to have the voting zone. I'm curious if we can have it deemed that people in the queue for the microphone can also vote, because obviously they want to participate too, and they're in the queue. That's the only reason they're outside the zone.
Let me speak to that's a logistical question as much as it is a procedural question. So let me speak to our counters and see if we can manage that. It seems sensible to me. And it's fair on, there's a yes and a no microphone, so it seems fair on both sides. To that C9 proposal, votes in favor 305, votes opposed 443, so the motion is defeated. Mr. O'Brien, I'll sort out the logistics on the next break, but I'll keep it moving for now since we're trying to meet time here. So C10, proponent from Charlottetown for 1 minute.
Good morning. My name is Desmond Hamill. I'm the president of Charlottetown. This is a very simple addition to Section 7. As Melissa said earlier, the members of the Conservative Fund, there's only a couple of them, and they work very, very hard in raising money. They raised about $50 million just last year alone, and so they should be automatic delegates for convention. Right now, if they live in a specific riding, for instance, if they lived in Charlottetown, it wouldn't be a problem. But if they lived in Calgary Centre, they may have to try to get a delegate spot, which is kind of unacceptable. There's only a few people that get auto delegate spots, the president, candidate of record, that sort of thing. So because of the work they do, we believe that that person should be an auto delegate.
Okay, thank you. Is there a technical? No. Is there another speaker in favor for 30 seconds? Okay, speaker opposed for 30 seconds.
Gortalk Red Deer, I cannot express how fiercely I'm opposed to this. Every delegate here earned the right by having support of the riding, the sort of members, everybody on the list here in one form or another that currently is in our Constitution were elected to come and be eligible to be delegates. These are not, I don't care how much bloody money they raise. It's about their ability to have the support of other party members to be a delegate here. Please, please reject this change. Thank you.
Speaker opposed.
Hi, Chris Moen, Calgary Crowfoot. Just like Gord Talk said, we all earned the right as delegates. And I was also just informed that while there are a limited number of directors, there are unlimited number of members. So at the stroke of a leader's pen, they can flood it in a poison pill scenario in order to bring unlimited number of directors because we don't control the Conservative Fund membership requirements list. So please, vote against this. Thank you.
Hear, hear.
Thank you. Is there a rebuttal for 30 seconds?
So what I would say is that as president, I am an auto delegate, and certainly the head of the Conservative Fund does a lot more work for the party than I do. So that's just my opinion in that position.
Thank you. We'll call the question for a vote. All those in favor, please raise your cards. Okay, all those opposed? Oh, yeah, okay. Well, I think we see. We will not call that for a count. Well, we can, if the will of the room is to count, we could do it, but thank you very much. C10 is defeated. C11.
Joseph Richard, Calgary Centre. So we all want a Conservative government. This is really about getting us there. So the proposal adds two things to the Constitution, two changes to the responsibilities of National Council. First, National Council overseeing electoral readiness of the party for the next election, as well as a post-mortem following every election. So it's kind of disappointing, no post-mortem following the last election. We all want to win. I'm hoping that this can get us there during the post-mortem. That's it.
Thank you very much. Is there technical commentary? No. So a speaker in favor for 30 seconds, please.
Hello, Chris Moen, now over at the yes microphone, just to prove that I don't say no to absolutely everything. Speaking out in support of Calgary Centre for this, it was well presented at Alberta Congress, and so please vote in support. It's a simple amendment, and please give it your support. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll give you time to get back to the no microphone now. Is there a speaker opposed? No speaker opposed. Speaker in favor or rebuttal for 30 seconds, if you'd like to take it. I don't know what you're rebutting, but okay. We'll call question C11 for a vote. All those in favor, please raise your cards. All those opposed? That's carried. Thank you. To Mr. O'Brien's earlier point of order, if those in the queue to speak, the counters will survey the queue so your votes are counted if you're in queue to speak, even though it is behind the dividing line. Otherwise, if you're a delegate and you want your vote counted and you're not in the queue to speak, you have to be in the front half of the room. Going on to C12. Saxville, Bedford, Preston. Is there a speaker in favor for 1 minute, a proponent?
All right, gang. So we're going to change it up here a little bit. I'm going to make an executive decision. This thing is running for, like I say, another 12 hours. So what are we going to do about that? We're going to break this one up. There's more interesting things to come. I don't want to get people interested and clicking on it and finding out that it's always like this, because this isn't what we show. We show conflict and controversy most of the time. I like watching this stuff. I really do. I'll be paying attention to this all day, but we are going to round it off right now. We'll be back in a couple of hours with some more exciting things. Smash the like, hit subscribe, click the notifications. You can turn that off later on, but if you want to see exactly what I'm coming back on live this evening, because we're probably going to do 2 pieces this evening, hit the notifications and you can find out. If not, at least smash the like and hit subscribe. Appreciate everybody that's tuning in today. See a whole bunch of familiar faces that I haven't seen in a while, so that's great. And seeing a lot of new faces as well, which we're always happy to engage with new folk that want to learn about politics. That's why I started this channel. I didn't know what was going on, and I knew that none of the people that I worked around, I worked in a government office, they don't know anything about politics. So I started doing this channel to teach myself and show other Canadians what I'm learning. When I started, I thought I was a Liberal. Now I'm just a voter that will be voting for the Conservative Party in the next federal election and probably for the next few. Anyhow, Aaron Canadian Looney, like, share, subscribe. Come back this evening. We'll be doing more of this. And that's it. Smash the like, hit subscribe, and get notified if you want to see the shows this evening. Ciao for now. Thank you all for tuning in. We're going to wrap it up. Actually, before we wrap it up, no, we're just going to go. We're out, guys. Thanks for